Hi everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be evaluating the EQ and the compression section of the TASCAM Model 12. To conduct this test, I've got Cakewalk running and I have added a track that has my curve analyzer and the external insert sandwiched between the two. This is the Cakewalk external insert plugin, and it's available under plugins at the end, where it allows you to select the track's output to go to a physical output of the audio interface and then return back to a physical input of the audio interface. I've done a detailed video using the insert. I will leave a link in the description. You can watch that and understand how this works. But in this case, I'm just sending a signal to the output 5 of my TASCAM 12 and listening back a return of the input 6. So the signal will actually come out of my Cakewalk into just before the compression on channel 5 on model 12. It'll follow down all the way, and I have my sub turned on, not the main, and the signal is going to the sub, and a cable is connected at the back of the unit that is the output of the sub into the input of channel 6, and then I can monitor channel 6 selected the mode to live. This way I have a closed loop, signal going out to 5 through the sub output, physical connection, and back into the 6 and returning back into Cakewalk. I have the analyzer's signal generator output set at -18 dB, so that way I get a clean signal into channel 5's PC return input, and I've adjusted the levels so the return is showing at 0 dB on the scale. This way we can analyze the equalization plus and minus 15 dB on the graph. At the moment, everything is a default setting, and as we can see, it's pretty flat and constant all the way from 20 Hz up to 20 kHz, and from 10 kHz to 20 kHz, there's probably about 1 dB or thereabouts of slope going down. Let's test the low cut filter at 100 Hz. Let's have a look. At -3 dB, that's where everything is counted. It's always at -3 dB from the reference point at 100 Hz, and that's about right. Very close. Yep, -3 dB at 100 Hz, so it is correct as far as the low cut filter operation. Next, let's have a look at the top EQ, which is at 10 kHz and it is shelving. So let's increase that slowly. And that's all the way. So having a look at 10 kHz is about 12 dB, which is 3 dB short than the 15 dB, and that is correct. And of course it slopes all the way up to the 20 kHz, about 14 dB. Let's reverse that the other way. Bit of noise there for some reason. And it is at 10 kHz minus 12 dB, which is correct, and it goes beyond 15 dB, but that is the slope. So middle is sweeping, so I'm just going to set the frequency at 100 Hz, which is defined on the mixer, and let's increase that, and this is 100 Hz here. And this is peaking, so we have a bell shape. And that goes, yep, all the way up to 15 dB at 100 Hz. And it sweeps from 100 Hz to 8 kilohertz. So let's sweep that, and 8 kilohertz is about here. And of course, the bell shape, the Q of the EQ point is quite the same and steady. And that's 8K, that's the end. I can't turn any more. And that's correct as well. Of course, bear in mind that this is a digital mixer, not an analog mixer. So it's all algorithms that's being calculated. And where the novice says 500 Hertz, well, that's about 500 Hertz there. It's pointing to 600 Hertz, but that's close enough. As always, you should be using your ears to do any EQ changes, but knowing where things are at, it helps sometimes. Next, let's do the cut for the mid sweeping frequency. I've got it back at 100 Hertz, and let's cut it. And it's around there. It's jumping a little bit, but I guess that's part of the signal part. So that is correct. And let's sweep it all the way to 8K. Yep, again, the bell shape, the Q is quite constant all the way through. And that's the end of that. And then it does reach to 8K at minus 15 dB. So all correct for the mid frequency. And the last one is the low shelf, which is at 80 Hertz. Let's increase that. 80 Hertz is there, 12 dB, and goes up to pretty much 15 dB all the way to 20 Hertz. And cutting it, we have 80 Hertz at 12 dB. So what happens if we cut 80 Hertz and we set it to 100 Hertz, the sweeping frequency, and then we increase it? So of course we're getting that bump. And that's at 15 dB gain. So that's a great way to get nice bassy sound, just that we can get more or less, where you can get really good bass. So if you are tuning a bass guitar and you want to cut all the low end but still leave and give life to the bass and all the bottom energy, that's the way you can do it. And of course you can adjust that level, probably something about this range. And normally, if you had the second sweepable frequency, you will adjust that onto the sort of the top harmonics of the guitar, about 1K and 1 and 2K around here. And you can boost that as well, a peaking frequency. Then you get nice bass guitar sounds. But of course, you are limited on the Model 12. And let's try the opposite. Let's increase a bit of air, and this time at about, I'll say about 6 or 7 kilohertz is when you might want to cut. That should be a nice airy 2 vocals. And if we give the low cut, then we got nice clean vocals. We are boosting the intelligibility side of a vocal, removing all of the sibilance and leaving some air at the top end. Something about there. That's how you can visually sort of see and analyze what the EQ, especially the sweepable EQ, can do for you. Okay, next, let's have a look at the compressor. We're not going to be able to find out too much because this EQ curve analyzer doesn't really analyze compression. but it will tell us if there's any change in the compression level. So we just got the LED come on, so that's giving us some gain. And that's increasing. And I've got turned all the way, the compression is all the way up, and that's giving us probably about 8 dB of gain. But to really truly analyze a compressor, you really need some audio signal that like a drum or snare to be able to analyze how the compressor is working, how fast it is, how quickly it's releasing, and so on. And if that is something that interests you, and you want me to test, leave a comment below. I might make a follow-up video and show how the compressor is actually reacting to percussive instrument, vocals, and maybe a bass guitar as well. Leave a comments below and I'll do a follow-up video. As a conclusion to this analysis, I think what TASCAM Model 12 says about the knobs and the EQ section, how it actually works, what's been printed on the actual unit itself, it does complement what I see on the screen, and I think it does a great job. Again, remember, this is a digital mixer, so all the EQs are digital algorithms. If this video was helpful, make sure you give me the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And if videos like this interest you, consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great time making music, and I'll catch you in the next one.